What's up, Taiwan? I'm Yvonne Young with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Scientists at Taiwanese universities have successfully launched 2 more research rockets, marking another win for Taiwan's space goals. Both rockets broke records, the largest solid propellant rocket launched by academia and the first liquid-fueled rocket independently developed by students in Taiwan. The sounding rockets are used to gather data and test critical systems in the real world. It comes after the successful test flight of the Taiwan Space Agency's domestically produced Marajo rocket. The launches are part of this agency's push to break into the space transportation supply chain. The AI boom is bringing huge benefits for parts of Taiwan's economy, but traditional industries say they're being left behind. The country's National Federation of Industries is urging the government to better support businesses facing a variety of challenges. Lily Martina was at their annual conference.
Taiwan cannot rely on AI alone. That's the message from the National Federation of Industries, which represents more than 150 domestic industry associations. The group says that AI is generating enormous wealth, but that traditional industries and their workers are not benefiting equally from the current economic boom. The Federation says government resources have become too concentrated in the semiconductor and IT sectors. It says traditional industries still form the backbone of Taiwan's economy. They are urging the government to provide more support for traditional industries through subsidies and other measures.
我建议他那个资金借给传统产业，传统产业赚钱还回来缴利息，还回来缴我们的这个税金，他又有利息收，双赢，这个对整个台湾来讲是非常正面的。
The group surveyed 161 member associations across 10 major industries. It identified 3 major challenges: labor shortages, industrial transformation, and energy constraints. It says mitigating the shortage of workers is of utmost concern. It encouraged the government to relax restrictions on hiring foreign workers and strengthen worker protections.
建议政府全面检讨及放宽引进限制，从载明管理转向全面对接的模式，让所有面临缺工困境的产业能获得人力的补充。
Energy security is another concern. The Federation says a stable power supply is vital not only to traditional industries, but also to AI development. It says all types of energy, including nuclear energy, should be considered. For these businesses, the concern is not that semiconductors are too strong, but whether their success can pull other industries up rather than crowd them out. Ryan Wu and Lily Martina in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Days of torrential rain have caused heavy losses for farmers across southern Taiwan. On Monday, the Agriculture Ministry estimated total damages at more than $320,000 US. Around 70% of those losses were around Tainan, which saw heavy flooding. Watermelon crops were among the hardest hit. The weather officials blamed multiple factors, including strong southwest winds and a lingering low-pressure center. An approaching typhoon could bring more wet weather later this week. In recent years, Taiwan's government has identified ships flying flags of convenience as a potential threat to its undersea cables and has stepped up scrutiny of vessels with links to China. In part 2 of our special report, Cadence Coranta and Alan Liu went to the front line to see how Taiwan's Coast Guard responds to vessels that could threaten the country's digital lifelines.
Suspicious activity near undersea cables is something Taiwan is on high alert for. It has accused China of trying to sabotage them on purpose. In one case, sentencing a Chinese captain to prison for damaging one. He was captain of the Hongtai 58, which was flying a flag of convenience. One thing to note, it appears to have spent around a month in the area of the cluster, just before Taiwan says it damaged the cable. Amid cases like this, the government named ships flying FOCs as among the primary causes of damage to Taiwan's undersea cables in recent years, and said it would focus more on them, especially on ones with links to China. The Coast Guard says 5 FOCs in particular could indicate a connection to China. Around half of the 75 ships we've identified fly one of these flags.
比方说蒙古、多哥、坦桑尼亚、喀麦隆比方说四三共和国，这些理论上船籍国是属于这些外国的管辖权。问题是，以我们掌握资料来看，很多都是中资背景。换句话说，它背后资金、背后管理公司是中国的，包括船员都是。
So how does Taiwan protect its cables and its waters? We went to the front line to see.
So we're on a Coast Guard vessel right now. We left from Tainan port, and we're kind of seeing how they do their day-to-day patrols. They say that they have Coast Guard ships patrolling in this way 24 hours a day around Taiwan. And in this particular spot, this is nearby the area where the big group of ships that we're investigating is as well.
其实我们船上最重要的就是这个雷达，它就是我们所谓的眼睛。我们航行都要看这雷达去操作，然后判读我们的这个目标的航向，我们去做避风的措施，或是这艘船有没有行迹可疑，我们都是靠雷达去判读说它的是不是有一些奇怪的路径。
The Coast Guard has also specifically said it monitors vessels flying FOCs as they transit Taiwan's waters. They pay extra attention to a list compiled of 153 vessels linked to Chinese funding and flying FOCs, which they split into different risk categories. They also told us that when a high-risk ship entered the undersea cable warning zone, the Coast Guard would dispatch patrol ships to drive them away or issue warnings, or in some cases, even board or detain them.
Taiwan has different legal authority in different parts of its surrounding waters. In terms of the cluster, it sits inside Taiwan's internal waters, which are considered part of its territory and where it has full legal jurisdiction. Here, the Coast Guard is responsible for investigating ships suspected of violating the law and inspecting, boarding, expelling, or detaining ships that threaten the water's interests, order, or safety. The Maritime and Port Bureau can also fine certain ships that fail to maintain normal operation of their Automatic Identification System, or AIS, which broadcasts things like location and speed, or if they use it to transmit false identification information. The Bureau also bars certain ships from entering Taiwan's ports, including several seen in the cluster. For example, the cargo ship Long'an is barred from Taiwan's international commercial ports due to national security concerns, though that hasn't stopped it from lingering nearby, at times sitting in the cluster for several days, at some points under 7 nautical miles or 13 kilometers from 2 key military sites. 2 other ships, the Athena and the Huixin, are also barred from Taiwan's ports because they're on the Maritime and Port Bureau's list of vessels suspected to have violated bans imposed on North Korea by the United Nations. The Athena, under a previous name and owner, was investigated by a UN panel of experts for an alleged ship-to-ship transfer with a North Korean ship. Both are also prohibited from loitering anywhere inside Taiwan's territorial sea or contiguous zone. But in recent months, the Huixin was spotted in the cluster at least once, and the Athena twice appeared to linger there for around 10 days straight.
That was part 2 of a special TaiwanPlus report. In part 3, we dive into the risks these foreign flagged ships could pose to national security. India is emerging as a player in the global AI boom, and as companies around the country cash in, the government invests billions. Our reporter Lydia Martina has the story.
At a bustling factory in western India, technicians work around the clock to turn glass into hair-thin fiber optic strands, bound for data centers powering AI's growth worldwide. India's AI models and advanced chips may not be on the radar for most, but the country is emerging as one of the fastest-growing markets for AI data centers.
I think we're well placed, whether it comes to land, power availability, and I think the way the push is coming both from the center and the states, I think this is the right time, and I think many companies are looking at not only setting up but having 5 to 10 year investment plans in India.
Construction is heating up to match.
So we have 16 operational data centers. There are 12 under development data centers. We have close to 200 megawatt of operational capacity currently, and under development pipeline and all the future pipeline that we have, we expect to get to the lot bigger number.
Unlike elsewhere, the rapid expansion has met little resistance so far, and stakeholders largely appear to be on the same page.
Yeah, see, the Indian opposition to data centers in India is probably in a very nascent stage. And some of the voices of opposition that I have heard, they had been primarily driven by the data being from the US rather than the data being used from India. If the experts will use the Indian data, and then I'm confident that there will not be any opposition.
India is looking to climb the ladder of world tech superpowers. Semiconductor projects to fuel the AI boom in Prime Minister Narendra Modi's home state of Gujarat, and around $10 billion of state funding for projects nationwide is no coincidence. New Delhi is also backing the AI build-out with tax waivers for hyperscalers on Indian soil, chasing a gap where India holds a fifth of the world's data but under 5% of its data center capacity. But this AI automation could rattle India's enormous IT and business outsourcing industries, worth hundreds of billions of US dollars. For now, businesses are still riding the boom, and as one chipmaker CEO puts it, the AI game is only in its third inning. Leon Lian, Ted Chen, and Lily Lamatina for TaiwanPlus.
Extreme heat is changing the rhythm of farm life in Japan. Aichi has more.
With one heat wave after another, Japan keeps shattering temperature record this year. The country's weather agency had to coin a new term to better warn the public about dangerous heat levels. A Kokushibi is a cruelly hot day, where temperatures reach 40 degrees Celsius. Amid this climate trend, farmers have taken to working after dark to avoid the scorching heat of the day. More than 100 kilometers north of Tokyo, flower farmer Zijima Motoaki now takes to his fields only after the sun goes down.
We were concerned about our workers' physical safety and even their lives, since temperatures are rising every year, so we decided to switch to harvesting and doing other tasks at night. We've gradually become nocturnal. It's about protecting our bodies and ultimately our lives.
He made the drastic change 3 summers ago after a part-time worker suffered heat stroke picking sunflowers in his greenhouse. It's become a life and death matter, especially given the average age of farmers in the country. Around 70% of farmers in Japan are 65 or older, and more susceptible to heat stress, especially in Japan's humid climate. About an hour's drive away, poultry farmer Usuba Tezuya is also turning to night operations after a huge loss of livestock in 2020.
The temperature was very hot and more than 500 chickens died in this shed and the next one over. Chickens don't tend to eat when it's hot, so what we're doing is we wake the chickens up when it's cooler during the night and get them to eat then.
The amount of working hours lost to heat translates to nearly 1% of GDP. The government's taken action, introducing new regulations requiring employers to set up heat stroke response and reporting procedures. The country is also promoting smart farming technology such as drones and robots to reduce workers' heat exposure. While government initiatives and smart tech take time to scale up, Japanese farmers are holding the line after the sun goes down. Alex Chen, Ted Chen, and IT for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we leave you with footage of the World Tango Competition in Buenos Aires. I'm Yvonne Yang. Take care, and I'll see you next time.